the sound of crows, somewhere between the truth and what I chose. The fire was dying, the night was gone, and I rode out before the dawn. My horse was tired, my hands were cold, my heart felt heavier than gold. I buried friends and buried sin, now I ride where the silence begins. Dust and God's silence, that's all I know. Ain't no mercy on this road I go. Under the stars where the lost souls sleep, the wind still howls and the graves run deep. There's a town called Mercy, a day's ride west, where the preacher lied and the lawman guessed. They said redemption comes to those who kneel, but my faith lies in the weight of steel. I've seen good men fall for a bag of gold, and the young grow bitter and the brave grow old. But the trail don't care who you used to be, it just drags your soul where it wants to see. Dust and God's silence, it fills my chest. Every mile of prayer I never confess. The sky don't answer, but it listens still as I ride these plains with a broken will. They say a man can change if he tries hard enough, but I've seen too many graves built from promises. So I ride, not to run, not to hide, just to fade. The moonlight cuts through the canyon walls, and the coyotes sing their mournful calls. There's blood on my hands, dust in my lungs, and the ghosts I carry weigh a ton. I pass by crosses one by one, each name a story that's come undone. I tip my hat to the ones who fell and whisper softly, I'll see you in hell. Dust and God's silence, still by my side. Through the valleys low and the mountains wide, no preacher's word, no woman's cry can wash the sins that refuse to die. The dawn creeps in, red as sin. Another day, another skin. The whiskey burns, but not as deep as the truth the man can't keep. I've seen the faces fade to gray of every soul I've pushed away, but the road forgives, it always does, if you bleed enough into its dust. Dust and God's silence, my only friend. From the start of the trail to the bitter end, when my horse goes down and the sky turns gray, let the wind take what I couldn't say. fire is low and the stars are white, the kind you only see when the pain subsides. My horse lies quiet, my boots by the flame. I whisper my story, it don't need a name. I've walked through sin, I'm nailed in dust, loved a few but lost my trust. Now all that's left is me and the night, and the ghosts that linger in the fading light. This is the last campfire song I'll sing, to the wind, the stars, and the cow train. The road's been long, the whiskey's gone, but the silence still keeps me strong. I once rode north, chasing the dawn, for a dream that was gone before I moved on. A woman's face, a preacher's lie, a bullet missed, but the soul don't die. I've seen blood dry on a cross of stone, felt mercy fade and a voice have known. The law don't follow where shadows live, and time don't take what it can't forgive. This is the last campfire song I'll sing, for the hearts I broke and the truth I bring. No gold, no fame, just miles of bone, and a quiet road that leads me home. The west don't end where the map runs thin, it ends where a man stops running from himself. There's a cabin up near the Devil's Bend, where the wind don't talk and the rivers end. I'll lay my gun where the shadows sleep, and trade my past for a dream I keep. The sky turns red, the night grows near. I ain't afraid, I've made my peace here. The road may fade, the stars may fall, but I still ride through it all. This is the last campfire song I'll sing, to the dust, the night, and the deathless wind. The fire will fade, the night will take, but the soul rides on for heaven's sake. it hums an old familiar tune. I've walked this land through smoke and flame. Now it's time the river forgot my name. I've seen towns rise, I've watched them fall, heard my sins echo off the canyon wall. The road was cruel, but the night was kind, and both left scars that I don't mind. Where the river forgets my name, I'll lay my hat and lose my pain. Let the current take what the years can claim. Where the river forgets my name. There was a girl in Paso town, eyes like whiskey, hair falling down. She swore she'd wait, I swore I'd stay, but the road called louder that day. Now she's gone, and so am I. Just two ghosts under the same white sky. I left her in on a window pane for the river to forget our name. Where the river forgets my name, all the fire turns to rain. No gun, no past, no claim to fame. Where the river forgets my name. They say a man's past is written in dust, but dust don't last forever. Someday, even the wind forgets who you were. There's a church bell ringing somewhere east for the lost, the tired, the deceased. I ain't praying, but I understand how mercy finds a broken man. My horse drinks slow by the silver stream, and I see my face where the ripples gleam. The boy I was, the man I became, they fade together in the same frame. Where the river forgets my name, let it wash away my shame. I've burned too bright, I've bled too plain. Where the river forgets my name. All sing in a minor way. If heaven's real, it looks like this: a quiet bend, a final bliss. I'll let the water take my soul. No preacher, no cross, no self-control. Just a man and the earth he came to the place the river forgets his name. Where the river forgets forgets my name, I'll drift away with no refrain. And if you hear that lonesome train, it's just me, where the river forgets my name. I once rode north chasing the dawn for a dream that was gone before I moved on. A woman's face, a preacher's lie. A bullet missed, but the soul don't die. I've seen blood dry on a cross of stone, felt mercy fade in a voice half known. The law don't follow where shadows live, and time don't take what it can't forgive. This is the last campfire song I'll sing, for the hearts I broke and the truth I bring. No gold, no fame, just miles of bone and a quiet road that leads me home. The west don't end where the map runs thin. It ends where a man stops running from himself. There's a cabin up near the Devil's Bend, where the wind don't talk and the river's end. I'll lay my gun where the shadows sleep and trade my past for a dream I keep. The sky turns red, the night grows near. I ain't afraid, I made my peace here. The road may fade, the stars may fall, but I'll still ride through it, can't forget. This is the last campfire song I'll sing, to the dust, the night, and the deathless wind. The fire will fade, the night will take, but the soul rides on, for heaven's sake. The river runs cold beneath the moon. It hums an old familiar tune. I've walked this land through smoke and flame. Now it's time the river forgot my name. I've seen towns rise, I've watched them fall, heard my sins echo off the canyon wall. The road was cruel, but the night was kind, and both left scars that I don't mind. Where the river forgets my name, I'll lay my hat and lose my pain. Let the current take what the years can't claim. Where the river forgets my name. There was a girl in El Paso town, eyes like whiskey, hair falling down. She swore she'd wait, I swore I'd stay, but the road called louder that day. Now she's gone, so am I, just two ghosts under the same white sky. I left her ring on a window pane for the river to forget our names. Where the river forgets my name, all the fire turns to rain. has no claim to fame, where the river forgets my name. They say a man's past is written in dust, but dust don't last forever. Someday, even the wind forgets who you were. There's a church bell ringing somewhere east, for the lost, the tired, the deceased. I ain't praying, but I understand how mercy finds a broken man. My horse drinks slow by the silver stream, and I see my face where the ripples gleam. The boy I was, the man I became, they fade together in the same frame, where the river forgets my name. Let it wash away my shame. I've burned too bright, I've bled too plain, where the river forgets my name. The dawn is pale, the world turns gray, the birds all sing in a minor way. If heaven's real, it looks like this, a quiet bend, a final bliss. I'll let the water take my soul. No preacher, no cross, no self-control, just a man in the earth he came to the place. The river forgets his name. Riding slow through Abilene, the sky was painted red. The moon hung like a warning sign above the road ahead. My horse was tired, my heart was too. I buried friends and dreams of two, and the wind still whispered names I left for dead. There's dust upon my jacket and blood upon my sleeve. I've learned that mercy's just a lie the dying men believe. The preacher said, son, change your ways, but I was gone before he prayed, chasing ghosts across the valley of reprieve. Under that blood moon over Abilene, I saw the devil and he looked like me. He said, right on, boy, there's no in between, just the road, the gun, and the graveyard dream. Under that blood moon over Abilene, the crows were calling from the trees. My shadow knelt down on its knees. The earth was dry, the stars were dim, and I sang one last outlaw hymn. Forgive me, Lord, if you still care. I left my soul out bleeding there. Under that blood moon over Abilene, the wind was cold, my slate unclean. I caught my name where none had been and vanished slow, unseen, serene. Under that blood moon over Abilene. Now every mile behind me fades like smoke into the black, and every sin I tried to bury crawls up on my back. The candle's low, the night is wide, I still hear echoes when I ride of the man I was and won't get back. Under that blood moon over Abilene, I saw the devil and he looked like me. He said, right on, boy, and you'll see heaven's just a ghost of what could be. Under that blood moon over Abilene, the crows were calling from the trees. My shadow knelt down on its knees. The earth was dry, the stars were dim, and I sang one last outlaw hymn. Forgive me, Lord, if you still care. I left my soul out bleeding there. There's a road that runs through dust and bone, past the church with the cross half grown, where the wind don't talk, it only moans, and the crows all fly alone. I've been chasing dawns that never break, trading love for my own mistake, and every mile my saddle aches with the weight of what I've done. I left a woman in New Mexico with tears like silver, soft and slow. She said you'll find your peace below, but I kept my boots to go. There's ghosts in every mile I ride, whispering truths I try to hide, and the stars just watch, cold and white, like judges in the night. On the road to Nowhere Creek, where the dead still hum and the lost men speak, I lay my gun beside my cheek and pray the Lord my soul to keep. On the road to Nowhere Creek. I found an outlaw, same as me. We shared a fire beneath the tree. He said, boy, you can't outrun the sea. It swallows what it needs. He gave me half his bread and name, said life's just luck and guilt and shame. At dawn I left, he did the same, to die in different dreams. The water there runs black as tar, it hides the sins of who we are. I saw my face in that old scar and swore I'd ride no more. But horses know when men still lie, their hearts beat wild beneath the sky. So I rode till even hope ran dry and silence filled the score. On the road to Nowhere Creek, where no man's brave and no man's weak, the past don't fade, it cuts too deep, and the night don't care who we. On the road to Nowhere Creek. So if you find that road one day, turn your horse the other way. There's nothing there a soul can save, just ghosts that call your name. And if you hear me through the rain, know I'd ride that path again, for peace was never meant for men like me or Nowhere Creek. The sky was bleeding gold. My coat was torn. My heart was cold. The wind hummed low like a funeral song and whispered, son, you've been gone too long. There's smoke still rising from the town I knew. El Paso burned like the truth I outgrew. Now only ashes, dust and bone, and a man who rides this world alone. The sheriff's gone, the preacher's blind, the past don't care what it leaves behind. I've buried friends and made my peace with sins that never found release. I still smell her hair in the desert rain, a love that cut me more than pain. She said you'll die before you're free, and damn it, maybe she's right about me. In the ashes of El Paso, I laid my gun to rest. 1,000 ghosts behind me, no home, no holy test. If the Lord still rides these highways, He's surely riding west through the ashes of El Paso, where the lost don't get no rest. I saw a crow on a broken sign, said whiskey raving in faded lines. He looked at me like an old friend who knows you better than you're in. The moon climbed up pale and mean, let my hand stain it unclean. I poured one drink, then let it spill for all the hearts I couldn't kill. The road hums soft beneath my wheels, the dust remembers every deal. A cross stands lone in the canyon's rim for men like me who forgot their hymn. And if redemption ever calls my name, I'll ride right past. I played that game. The fire's low, my soul's half burned, and some roads just ain't meant to turn. In the ashes of El Paso, the night's my only friend. The stars keep count of promises I never could defend. I'll ride until the desert swallows every breath I send, through the ashes of El Paso till the very end. If you ever see a rider alone in the dust, don't ask his name, don't earn his trust. He's a ghost of fire and sin's decree, and he's headed west. Same as me. when I settled beneath the moon. The wind was still, the ground was dry, and every crow that passed me by felt like a memory saying goodbye to the man I used to be. The dust rose slow, the trail was mean. The echoes call from what I've seen. They said, son, your time is near, and I could almost taste the fear of ghosts that ride when death is near and won't set a sinner free. On the last ride to Deadwood, I left my name behind, a pocket full of silver, a heart gone blind. If the reaper's waiting, I won't mind. I've made my peace and the whiskey went on the last ride to Deadwood. The saloon was quiet, the lamps burned low, the piano hummed what it used to know. Cards on the table, a gun in hand. The sheriff said, you best not stand. I smiled and tipped my hat instead. Don't worry, friend, I'm halfway dead. The air grew thick, the night stood still. Fate had her laugh and took her fill. 3 men down and one still breathing. The Lord above knows who he's keeping in me. I'm just the one still leaving a shadow riding on the last ride to Deadwood. I left my sins unclaimed. Every scar, every lie, every woman I named. If heaven's real, it's far too tame for a soul like mine, untamed by flame on the last ride to Deadwood. The stars were cruel, the wind turned cold. My story's short, but my bones are old. I heard the coyotes sing my song. Been gone too far, been gone too long. And I thought of her, her eyes so green, the only light this life had seen. She said, you'll die before you're clean. And she was right, she's always been. Fades into sky and sand. The reins hang loose in my trembling hand. If you find my horse where the canyon bends, don't ride him home, just let him in. Let him wander where the lost men sleep, by the graves the wild winds keep. And if you hear that galloping beat, know that's me, still riding free. Deadwood, the sky burned red. No prayers left, no tears to shed. I face the dark with a lowered head and smile. said, boy, this life don't owe you a thing. It'll break your bones before you sing. So I learned to ride, to shoot, to roam, to call no land or woman home. And every sunrise, hard and pale, just burned another ghost old trail. There's blood on the saddle, dust on my hands, a Bible that's torn, no wedding bands. The lawman's dead, but his eyes still stare. In my sleep I feel him there. I ain't proud, but I ain't ashamed. Every man bleeds by a different name, and I'll take my sins where the wild things dream, down to the place where the water's clean, where the river forgets my name, and the earth don't whisper blame. Let the rain wash off my shame, and the wind just call me gone. If the Lord still knows my face, he'll find me in that empty place where no one wins and no one prays, where the river forgets my name. I met a girl in Santa Fe, her voice like smoke, her soul like clay. She said, you can't hide from what you've done. The past don't set beneath the sun. I kissed her slow, then rode away. Another ghost come break of day, and though her eyes still haunt my dreams, she was never mine, or so it seems. I've seen men hanging, preachers lie, mothers curse when their sons would die. I've seen mercy in a killer's eyes and hope fade out beneath red skies. The truth is heavy like a stone, you learn to carry it alone. Now I ride through canyon dust, every trail a test of trust. The moonlight hums, the coyotes sing about a man who lost everything. There's bones beneath that mesa ridge, and my heart's buried by that bridge. So if you hear that lonesome sound, that's just my soul still riding round, where the river forgets my name, and my sins all drown the same. Let the thunder strike my claim, and the storm erase my road. If peace can't find this weary man, then bury me where it began, by the water cold and plain, where the river forgets my name. Some men ride for gold, some for pride, some just ride 'cause they can't hide. I ride the silence, what I hear, the ghosts that whisper in my ear. They say, son, it's time to rest, but I keep going, I can't confess. My story's carved in mud and flame, but soon the water'll take my name, where the river forgets my name. No stars above, no man to blame. Let me sleep in that endless rain, till the world can't call me home. If you find that lonesome plain where the willow weeps without refrain, say I rode into the rain, where the river forgets my name. And When the wind dies down again, you might still hear me through the glen. Just an echo, soft, untamed, where the river forgets my name. There's a road out past the canyon rim, where the light grows weak and the air turns thin. No signs, no sounds, just wind and stone, and the echo of hooves that ride along. I've carried guilt like a rusted chain, every link of face, every scar and name. I've buried truth, I've buried friends, and the trail don't offer no amends. My boots are torn, my spurs are red, from the miles I've walked with the living dead. The saloon's all closed when I come by, and mothers whisper, don't catch his eye. But I ain't cruel, just tired and worn, a man long past what he's been sworn. There's peace somewhere, or so I've heard, but I've never trusted preachers' words. Dust and bone, that's all I'll leave behind. The ghost of a name in the shifting mind. No stone, no cross, no hymn, no line, just the desert wind and the long decline. Dust and bone, the outlaw's home. I once had a brother with a steady hand. He rode beside me through the broken land. He said someday we'll make things right, but he died by dawn. I rode that night. Now every sunrise feels the same, just light and ash and an unmarked name. And I wonder if he sees me now, or if the dead don't bother somehow. I can still smell the sage and rain that wash the blood but not the pain. The fire burns low when the story ends, but smoke still clings to what it defends. And in the dark I talk to ghosts, the ones I've lost, the ones I've hoped. They whisper things I can't atone, that I'm made of dust and bone. I met a girl near Painted Sky. She had dreams too big to die. She said, you've seen hell, now find the rest. But peace ain't made for the wild and blessed. I kissed her once and rode away, left her heart with mine that day. And I still see her when I sleep, in the fields where the shadows creep. Dust and bone, that's all I'll leave behind. A grave unmarked, no ties to bind, no angels sing, no bells to chime, just the whisper a fading time, dust and bone, the outlaw's home. Some men fight for gold or crown, some just ride to lay burdens down. I've ridden storms and buried sins, heard the devil laugh where God begins. Now my horse grows slow, the night grows deep, and even the stars have ceased to keep. If I fall here, let me be a part of this earth's old elegy. So when they find what's left of me, let it rest beneath the cedar tree. No prayers, no cries, no final call, just the wind to mourn it all. And if you hear that lonely tone of hooves that fade and fade alone, know I've gone where all men roam, to the land of dust and bone, dust and bone. That's all I